linking up with Lisa on this one. Check it out. Okay.
I should welcome you to the studio, or you have to welcome me to the studio.
Today, you step in my studio, right? I want to be okay. You want me to be the host? Okay, fine.
Welcome to List Up TV, and you have to welcome me to your studio. I say welcome to List Up TV.
Okay, welcome to my studio.
It's so good. It's always a vibe to hang out with my man,
Sure.
J Art. I keep saying J Art because that is his social media handle. All the social media platform, you can just follow him and get to know more about art because he's an art person. All right, there is something that's bothering me, and I think someone sent me a comment on one of my social media handle. I think Twitter, yeah, and the person asked, man, can you do a concept or a video about the things that you have witnessed in China that you don't feel, you don't feel it, like you have seen, because we are outside the country, so we want you to give us the picture of the things that we have witnessed that we don't feel it. You bought the question.
Yeah,
the person is asking.
I get your point.
So before we delve into that situation, let's go back. Let's go back. You as an artist, you are art. You do art, right?
Sure.
Before COVID-19, right? Before COVID-19, and now, can you give me a picture of how life was and how life is? Just give me a picture of.
Kwame in the studio.
Yes, I'm in the studio.
Today you came to the studio. I thought you were coming to visit me. Let's eat and drink. Right now,
Yes, sir.
Big questions. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? If I want to say anything, I think they always say there's no smoke without fire.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So whatever situation that we will be in today, it might have a cause from way back. When you talk about situations in China, you can't predict because you will sleep today and tomorrow you wake up, it's another different story. So looking at back like where we started from. When you get to China,
Yeah.
because outside China there's so many perception about China, a lot of things people say, a lot of things which of course I can't say because people see it in a different direction, but when you are back home, they say a lot of things. Actually, in other perspective, not really good things. So they will say a lot of but the thing is, it's different situation from what you heard.
Of course.
If you're outside China, you will never hear anything about racism in China.
Yeah.
Nobody will tell you Chinese don't even speak English.
No.
But you get inside, then you realize that this is how it is.
They don't speak English.
So, anyway, one of the things that you have to look at, but China, like you are coming to China, as you make a research, don't look at the beauty of the country because everything with its beauty have its different side effects.
Yeah.
The first day I entered China, we do airport and it was like, hello, I'm going to my university. Like, you know, that alone make me feel like I'm rejected.
You are not welcome.
I'm not welcome. Because come bro, for you are speaking English and the person you are speaking to doesn't even understand what you are talking, and that is international airport. And say, like such issues, how do you deal with it?
Man, you've taken me back. I remember when I got to China, it got to a point in time, if you want to buy something at the shop, because I cannot speak the language, the only thing I can do is to do body language, like sign languages. So if I want to drink water, I get to the supermarket and I do the sign, hello, I want to buy
water.
Then I do the sign. Oh. And then the person will say, shui. I say, yes. I don't even understand what's the meaning of shui, but I'll say, yes. So the person will go and pick the water. I say, yes, I want this one. How much? And I do, like, I kept...
So it's like you were going with body language. But the thing is, ask yourself, why a big country like this, they can't speak English? The reason is that they don't want to be brainwashed.
Okay.
One.
Why?
And then
Speaking English is brainwashed?
it's not like brainwash, but the thing is, they want to go with their culture.
Okay.
Okay, back home, they want us to learn a language that we have to learn from somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, Cabrofo.
Okay.
But someone say, how many Ewes speak Ewe when they get to Accra? How many Fantis or Akans? Omo Accra and he anipa ahine to make in Krakas Accra no mo yen cry for the people who are guns.
They don't
Ask yourself, do they speak other languages? If you go to school, the only language they want you to learn is English.
Okay.
But in China, the language they learn is Chinese.
Chinese, yes.
English is optional.
Yeah.
So if you see somebody speaking English, a idea on one side is the person have learned or taught he or himself by herself.
Okay. Okay.
So a big international airport, they don't think about your language or that English language, but rather they feel say like the Chinese is what we understand. All their ratings is in Chinese.
Everything is in Chinese.
So
Everything.
how will you get into the country and you think you get help? Let's forget about that. Sometimes when I came, like way back,
Yeah.
one thing that I felt so bad, so bad, is when you get into a subway.
Okay.
You get into a
Okay.
subway, and the first thing, people start staring at you because you look different from them.
Yeah.
Secondly, when you get into the subway,
Yeah.
it's nobody's business. Fine. In our culture or back home,
Yeah.
when somebody want to take a picture of you, he need to ask permission. Because this world, anything can happen. And I make a picture today, I'll take a picture of you, then tomorrow you just passed away. Who is the cause of it? Maybe it's not a bad intention, but just because of that thing happened on that time,
Yeah.
you will be the cause of it. The motive behind you taking the picture is not bad, but the situation will let it look bad. So we have been trained with those things. So when you get to China and you get into a subway, and not even a subway, sometimes in the mall and other places, you see people trying to take
Pictures of you.
Without your knowledge, hiding behind bars, hiding behind things, and they will just be snapping pictures of you. I got into a subway. I think I quite remember me, Coolio, and like Romeo and some other guys. I think with Henry, yeah. And then we got
Shout
into
out to Henry though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Henry.
So we got into the subway. Then what happened was that there's this guy who took a picture of us. And you know, taking a picture of us is not a problem. But the problem with the picture is they send on their social media and they insult you in their language, which of course you don't understand the language. So how will you know? So this guy, but then thank God I was able to speak the language. But the other guys, they just came in, so they don't understand the language. So I tried to get in there and I asked the guy, why did you take a picture? I said, no. Me pie means I didn't take the picture. Then I said, let me get your phone. I took the phone and what I saw was, it was an image of, I think, Coolio.
Okay.
Because Coolio was standing in front of me, so the shot was close look on Coolio.
Okay.
Yeah, it was directly on Coolio and Henry. And I think they got pissed. So I took and I saw, what is this? Are you black? Is it you? And you know, the unfortunate thing was that he took the picture with his WeChat directly to the girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And under it, it's what Nikan Jega hearing.
Yes.
You see, those are bad words.
Even sometimes they will make a video call live and they will put the camera on you for the other person to see who you are. And like, oh, Nikata, hey.
Exactly.
Hey,
so you see, I felt so bad. So I got pissed and I took the phone. Then once I was holding the phone, the train stopped on the next stop and other people get in. The next thing I could realize that another lady also took the same picture again. So I took two phones. Then I decided not to give them. So we have to get to where we wanted to get to. I think that is Guamua.
Yeah, Gomao.
Then we got out. Then I told them I'm going to give them the phone because what they did is wrong. It's infringing on people's rights. So we got there. Then we looked for the policeman. And I asked the question. I asked the policeman, if it were to be you and somebody took a
Take
picture
picture
of
of
you,
you.
and the next day you passed away, who are you going to blame? Do you think what these guys did is right? He said, but you know, in China, you will never win a case with a foreigner.
You can't win a case against Chinese.
Against Chinese. Because no matter what, they will take the issue, defend their people, telling you that they will solve it, but they won't solve it.
Nah.
So at the end of the day, it became something like, okay, we will solve it. They asked them to write some undertaking and say they should delete all these things. But at the end of the day, those things didn't work.
Look, Big Bro has been speaking my language as well. Myself and a Zimbabwe friend, Floyd, whenever we get on the subway, we end up fighting. I remember Floyd have to be taking people's phone to his home, and those guys will even follow him to where he lives, to the last end. Then they will apologize, then he will ask them to delete it and give the phone back. Those days it was wild time. So it got to a point in time I decided to let it go, because you will leave home happily, but before you get back home, you are always angry.
Yeah,
You see, fighting and fighting with all these fellas with no reason, all because they've been taking pictures without asking you anything.
And
So-
you know one funny thing, the other funny thing was, if you don't really understand the language,
Yes.
that's really bad.
Yes,
They insult you.
yes.
And I don't know, I don't want to talk anything contradicted to racism, but sometimes what I believe is that is their way of life, that's how their culture is. Sometimes they've not got to know to certain things. That is not racism, that is just somebody being ignorant. I quite remember after 2 years staying in China, I got to know how to speak the language. There was before I had this dreadlocks.
Okay.
So there was a time I was going to work and I just got into the subway. This thing normally happens in the subway.
Yeah.
So I got into the subway, and what happened was that there's this lady, these two women, I think 40, 45, let's say 50, close to be my mother anyway. Then I was just standing, they were just standing behind me.
Yeah.
The only thing I could hear, you can't take a hair and tell that to hand chow. What?
Wow.
It means like, look at this black guy, his hair smells.
Badly.
Because I could hear the language,
language.
I felt it. But just assume you don't understand the language. You might think they are just speaking their own language. But these people insult us every time. So then it happens like 2-3 times. Then I turn and look at the woman. I was like, Nitsomala. Then she was like,
you can speak
then she was like, so they felt embarrassed, and I just want to embarrass them, so I started shouting. I was like, I just started shouting on my voice, so everybody, I captured the attention of all the people,
and they don't like that.
and that is the reason why
they don't want to lose face.
So you see, these are some. So if you want to talk about situation, it's boiled down from the beginning until maybe when you get to know the system, you realize that you can't fight with everybody.
Nah, you just have to let it go. You just have to ignore all these things in your mind and just flow with it.
So these are some of the past experience on how the situation. But looking at the current situation with the COVID, it was worse.
Super worse.
It was super worse. It was super worse because I think outside the world, we all know that these things generated from China. But when you inside, they have already brainwashed their people that it was given to them by the black fellas. So the treatment on foreigners is quite different from the beginning. It's even worse.
Yeah.
To the extent they don't want to renew your visa. To the extent when you go to shop, they don't want you to get inside. To the extent that when you are walking and they are coming, they have to close or block.
It even happened to me yesterday. Yesterday I went out. Was it yesterday? I think 3 days ago I went out, and when I was coming, I saw a lady coming from afar, and all of a sudden this lady has already closed the mouth and the nose and switched the lane because I'm coming.
So why do you think he shoot the lane?
Because I'm a black person.
Exactly, that's what we're talking about.
She thinks that I'm the one carrying the
virus. Because that is how they've been brainwashed.
Man, do I look like I carry the virus? This is laced up, yo. First of all, homie is not wearing his jacket. It's winter, and I don't know whether he's feeling hot or he's feeling cold.
Yeah, I'm cool.
So, you feeling cold?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, so
This is my studio. Come on.
yeah, and I don't feel right, man. So let me just take my jacket off too.
It's okay.
I have to
It's
take
okay.
my jacket off. Please, if you haven't subscribed to Leicester TV, and do well to subscribe to Inner Thoughts on all the podcast platform, and Big Bro Papa Like.
Yeah.
Then you can listen to be educated. You know, knowledge is not knowledge is not in only one person's head.
No.
Knowledge is broad.
And
What
knowledge
you
is
know,
power.
I don't know. And what I know, you might not know. So we learn, we share knowledge, we share.
One thing I want to say is that human beings or people always want to complain. Why would we complain?
Yeah.
Tell me. Why would you complain about something?
I'll complain because I don't feel comfortable of what is going on at that moment.
But the thing is, after complaining, is the problem solved?
No.
No. That's exactly what we face in China. You think you can fight all the Chinese? No, you can't fight them. But the thing is, the problem here is, if you realize that complaining will not solve the problem, why don't we ignore and solve the problem by ourselves? Before you complain, the other person has already moved on because he's not complaining. It doesn't mean that we in the situation doesn't feel it. We feel it, but we just don't want to talk about it.
I don't talk lately. I just pretend I don't understand the language.
Exactly.
And I just move on. Because if you want to, especially when you woke up in the morning, sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
Especially when you woke up early in the morning and you get out from your room, when the first person provoke you on the way and you respond, it will continue the whole day.
It will just mess up the whole day.
Your whole day will
be
mess up.
Right.
You meet another person, and another person will provoke you. You meet this one, and this one will provoke you, especially in the subway. Hey, my brother.
So this is what we call. This is what it's energy.
Yes.
So these things always happens. So that is why the whole thing is that you complaining. Ask yourself: is the problem solved? It's not solved.
It's not solved.
So then why would you still complain? And you have to understand, if wherever country you're coming from, your country is designed for you. If you're coming from Ghana, it's designed for Ghanaians. If Canada, for Canadians. US, for Americans. And China is for Chinese. So why then, if you are in their country, you expect them to obey or follow what you think is right for you?
Man, but sometimes if you look at the way they behave, bro, it's out of the book, man.
Sometimes. You know what, knowledge is power, as we all say.
Yes.
So sometimes we always say that lack of knowledge make my people perish. So sometimes some people are ignorant of the things that they do. You understand? Like for instance, China is very big, and when you go to so many parts of China, they have not even seen black people before. So what would be the reaction when they see you? This is what we don't understand, because we feel that we are in Beijing, the capital city, and there's so many foreigners and so many Chinese. But the thing is, some are in the village that is their first time to be in the city.
Yeah, especially whenever it's holidays. And
you know, most of their dream is, I want to go to the big city. I've never been to the big city. I want to go and see how the big city. It's like somebody stay in maybe one of the villages and say, I wanted to go to Accra.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, Accra? I just want to see Accra and see the sea.
Yeah.
So when that person comes to Accra, you being in Accra for a long time will see he's a villager.
Of course, because of the way the person will behave.
So sometimes these people that we meet in the subway, back way, and now, sometimes their behavior is just because they are ignorant.
All right. So now let's continue with our conversation as we're talking. Now we have experienced a lot of things in China. Personally, I have experienced it. I have seen a lot, and I'm trying to remember all of them. Do you know sometimes you forget them?
For me, I can't forget, bro. No.
Sometimes, unless someone is talking, I was like, yes, me too. I have gone through the same.
No,
thing.
the thing is that if you came to realize that you can't fight everybody, then you realize that okay, I just have to be at a low key.
That's it.
So sometimes somebody start conversation. You think it's you alone? No.
Yes. When I hear people talking, then I'll go like, oh, yes, I know. I've been in this position before. I've been in this position before.
You know, one funny thing I don't really like about these people is the way they speak. I hope you've experienced that thing.
Of course, I have, and that is one of the things I really detest or I don't like about this country so far. The first time I go here, actually, in Ghana, where I come from, whenever you are walking outside, you could be looking down to see if you can see some coins on the ground or some money on the ground. Because sometimes when I go out in Ghana, I keep praying, like, Father, please, let me get something on the ground. But here, if you keep looking down, the things you're going to see on the ground is not going to be good looking, I tell you. It's not going to be good looking, brother. Everything is just spitting. Those days it was, even on the plane, I go on the plane from China to Korea and from Korea to China. I use the Chinese airline, the China Air. And even on the plane, these fellas were spitting on the plane. I was like, yo, over here too. Yeah. In the train, it's crazy. Especially in the train, they have a session that they smoke. Hey, my brother, if you just go and walk that, you will not even have the feeling to eat. At that time, it was crazy.
It's really bad.
The spitting was super bad.
But you know, but one thing, I did a quite few research about these things, and I realized that I asked a couple of people about why would they spit even in the restaurant, you know. But sometimes they say they can't control it because somebody is smoking. They said most of their Chinese smoke, the tobacco, I think it dries up the throat.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, when it gets dry, they feel like something is stuck. Then they have to pick it. And I was like, can't you go to the washroom? Come on, you can go to the washroom. Then you realize that they will just, oh my God, this pissed me off. But you know, like I said, it's their country. You can't stop the person from doing what he's doing, but you can prevent the person from not getting close to you and doing that. But you can't stop them. And I think they also know sometimes. But when you look at the situation at hand, the thing is the old people who does that. I think the youth are learning.
It's just recently that I have realized that some of the youth, the young ones, are using a lot of tissues.
Yeah.
They do it, but they don't do it as compared to, as you said,
and if you can check the system very well, before it was the cigar, like the cigarettes, right? And they have different brands. But now is the electronic, which of course it doesn't dry the throat. It's rather give you the flavor, you know. So like, and the youth is the one that smokes those ones, and the old men or the old people smokes those the old one. So you can see if you rate this spitting thing, mostly is the old ones. Yeah.
It doesn't happen in Ghana. No, we don't spit like that in Ghana.
Sorry to say, but Ghana you don't have good roads. So if somebody spit on the floor, will you see that? sorry.
No, it's all good. But that's real. That's reality.
Yeah, because you see, it's not like it's not in Ghana. It is. But the thing is, our roads are untied. If I spit on the floor, or maybe it goes straight into the sand. You won't say it.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, these people, because they are developed, their roads are tied everywhere. So when you spit, you will see it. So that's what makes you feel like a time.
Okay.
And I don't know how the tree they say. Yeah. But in Ghana, no, maybe spit, you don't see it.
You don't see
so
it. Anyway, somebody will even spit into the grass and all those stuff.
You will not see it.
You don't see it.
Yeah. So at least once education is good.
I know, but the rate is there's a vast difference. between the people where I come from and here.
No,
when
but
it comes to spitting,
that's
bro.
that's what I'm saying. The spitting is one big thing that is not good for we the foreigners that we feel like it's not good for us. But the point is that education also counts.
Okay.
And also
Okay.
cultural difference also
Okay.
counts.
Okay.
Where you're coming from and where these people are coming from, it's two different things.
Of course.
Because back home, we are colored and you are growing up. They are sorry to say, oh my person a tongue like he want to fluctuate self brand.
Give out some.
A bit more excuse say, oh me bow, no I year go baby.
Yeah,
the only thing is already said to know, but what to mean can't. But when you are staying with them, people
go like,
boom, no I jam, uncle sorry, po. Uncle sorry. But when you say if you start to live,
Please, excuse me, man. What he's saying is just real. It's something that we see, we go through every single day. You will just be eating with Chinese
Oh, but
friends.
Jemo.
You just be eating with them, talking with them, being it a kid, elderly person. They don't even give that courtesy in the sense that, oh, let me excuse you or let me go out and just bring that bad air or something out right in front of you here.
and they will not even feel bad, nothing like
bad.
and they will not even say sorry.
No.
nothing.
They don't
But
feel
you see,
bad.
when you relate this
Oh
thing
my
back
God.
when you relate this thing back home, one thing you also realize that when you relate these things back home, for instance, we are color now mistakenly ujema, oh that's sorry, and now obeka sorry because ufo say it's not intentional.
Yeah.
And even so, let's say Sebi, oh papa no mami na jemu, non-intentional cry. Untimi nkasa, but you will just and mami no cry and papa no cry because oh sorry. At least out of like the new war, even though I say so catching but say sorry, but Obeka because these are involuntary something. But we mono trust me,
it just come straight, regardless of who you are. You be like, pooh.
So like you see, that's what I'm saying. That is where
Excuse
education.
me.
That's what I'm saying. Education comes in because
Yeah.
for those of us who have Chinese friends. Sometimes you know kasa obi say me ni nkofobia kasa say ono mutina krana sebi a friend who ne a bar oh sorry push it down push it go either. It means I didn't intentionally do it. Education because a cultural difference. Sometimes yes we have to blame, but don't mean blaming everything on them because so onima onye into share no onima let on him say oh and say me tina nkofon came yes idea. So when they get to know say I don't need to sit between people and speak, they don't do it.
Okay.
They don't do it. But the thing is, say, unim na uba China na say omo ya ebeya o time because that's not where you were trained from. What did I make an answer? And that's one of the situations where I had you.
That is one of the situations why I had dream in this country. I think everybody goes through, but even in your country, you also go through as well. But you guys have a way of doing it, of bringing out bad air. You understand? But where we are, China, Beijing, they don't just look at, they don't care. It just comes out uncontrollably. All right, that is the bad air. But thanks to, anyway, I wouldn't say thanks to, with the coming in of COVID, right? When you sit in the public buses, when you go to where people are in China, where you have to use nose masks, you don't smell anything. But before, brother, before COVID didn't come, those days, man, when you wake up in the morning, it's so bad. Before you get out from the public buses, the subways, your head, you get cold because some of them don't brush their teeth and
But let me tell you something. Now that there's COVID, sometimes when things happen, sometimes we might say thanks to God. Yes. Also, the Bible said in anything give thanks to God. But we are not saying we thank God that there's COVID. But due to the COVID nearby and into like you see, you have a mask on.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes I ask myself, man, with this nose mask, it's so amazing that when you get on the public bus, you don't hear, you don't feel any scent, anything. Man, somebody will wake up 5 the whole morning and get on the subway without brushing their teeth, and you have brushed yours, and you'll be in the subway smelling somebody's breath. Before you get out from the subway, bro, your head, you get cold instantly, and you have no choice than to be in at that time, because the time is money, time is everything. So you need to get to where you're going, right? You need to get to where you're going,
exactly,
bro. You have to.
Exactly.
So with the incoming in of COVID, I don't like the idea of people passing away with the COVID and all these things. I don't like that one. Is not cool.
It's
but
not cool, yeah.
on the other hand, it have made people cover their nose and they smell it by themselves.
So now they can't even spit outside. So like,
yes,
like somebody has this throat thing, he wants to like,
yeah.
But because of the mask,
yes.
What do you mean,
and I think you might have a tissues and all those things, and that's it.
So they don't. So now, due to COVID, these things have just limit. It has calmed down. But it doesn't mean that they don't do it. When they are together drinking and having fun, like eating together, sometimes they do it. But those who have the education, sometimes they do it in a tissue and drop it.
Okay.
Even though it's not nice and like it's an eyesore, will be a hospital. But that's another way of they think it's nice to like cool with them. Yeah. So I think these are some of the little problems that we face in China.
Look, I'm coming on your way with another video on this. I'm coming on your way with another video on this because we got a lot to say. I'm doing all this because one day you might love to come to China. So I want to educate you so that when you get to the airport and you are entering, you know, okay, I know what's up. Because when we were coming to China, we did not get that kind of education. Right, we just got in and we felt it. We just realized this is what was going on. Or where I come from, you don't do that. You don't do that, bro. You don't do that. Okay, so now let's talk about the last one we talk about. Then I think we will come back with another episode. You ready for another episode?
Man, I'm here for you, man. You came to my studio. But one year, I'm ready.
I'll be coming. I'll come around. I'll come around. All right. So now let's talk about driving on the road.
Do you have a car? I don't have a car. Did you see my car outside? Anyway. Yes.
You have been driving. I have been driving too. So you know what's up on the road. Man, it's so crazy.
Yeah, you see, when it comes to driving on the road,
do you have any experience on the road you can share?
Man, I got a lot of experience.
Let the people feel one of your experience.
Yeah, when it comes to driving on a Chinese road, one, if China is developed more on roads.
Yes.
Their roads are number one. Trust me. Compared to where we're coming from. Trust me. I'm not comparing these things, but yes, that's the reality. So when you are driving on a Chinese road, if you don't take care, you will slip off the road. Because the roads are 100%. But one thing I like about the Chinese road is that you are being controlled.
Yes, on the road.
Every 100 meters, there's a camera.
Yes.
So if it says that don't drive 60 or don't drive 100 or 120, if you cross just 1 second, you'll be captured.
The camera will get you.
So the camera will capture you. So if you, for instance, like where I'm coming from, you can buy a sports car, you can speed as much as you want to speed. But in China, you buy the sports car, but you can't drive.
You can't feel
the car.
The sports car. You sit in and you just be driving.
You just have the car
45,
for fashion.
60.
Because you can't cross the limit.
Yes. When you cross it, you pay.
You pay.
It's not free.
China makes a lot of money on the road than even other places. So on the road, trust me, even there are so many cameras that have been installed that even when you are driving, you hold your phone, the camera will capture you in the car.
The camera gets you. I think I have been captured twice.
The camera will capture. Ask yourself, how did they do this? Is it? That's one thing that we have to understand. I'm really happy. It's not like we try to reveal so many things on Lace Up channel. But the thing is the education.
We're educating.
The education. Even these things that we are saying, when these people hear this, they will get pissed off. But the thing is, we just want to let our people know that this is what is happening. There are good side and a bad side.
Of course.
You understand?
Of
but
course.
the thing is, on the road, the experience is more. The good side is that these people have installed over 1,001 cameras just for capturing you holding phone. The second one is seatbelt.
Yes, seatbelt.
I quite remember I went to the traffic office to pay a fine. Then there was this guy who had been captured not putting the seatbelt
on.
I think he just moved the car and he was using one hand. You know, he moved the car before putting the seat belt on. And I think he took a little bit of time so the camera captured. And he wanted to argue. Man, these people have proof. Immediately they just open the computer and they said, you see, this is you. This is your hand. Who is this? I mean, your face, everything shows that you didn't put. So pay and go. So you can't deny, you can't challenge
and
them.
when they show you the proof, there's nothing that you can say.
You can't say nothing. Even so, that's what I'm saying. You complaining will not solve the problem. My man, just pay a leave. So one is about the camera capturing you on the phone, and other the seat belt, and also the speed limit. You understand? And the worst part of it, I mean, the other side of, now we're talking about the good side. Now the other side of it is Chinese don't know how to drive. It's not that they don't know how to drive. It's just that they believe if this is my lane, it's my lane. I won't give you the chance. If you cross me, upa fabomi.
Yeah.
Ubetua.
That's one. If I'm in my lane, I'm in my lane.
Oh, my quite.
Yeah,
but you see, when because I normally compare this with where I'm coming from, because your system no and
yeah,
and maybe compare in a sense that so obi share na mpanyinfo bi so share, they should also think that this is what we face in reality. Baby, I'm afraid by like where we coming from. Me wa me lemu na obi eyinitia out of fear na ma pause say omberemu. Chinese in the own stop
no
any lane and by the law no say the bon and all the ball na come omoba no mo check here omo nam the lane. So why would I give you the chance if I don't feel like giving you
the chance?
Because what say sorry, it's not about religion, but yet they are sorry. Akatanyama bebre so what Jesus. Oh, and yes, David.
Now over here it's not like that.
And yes, sir.
You have to pay.
You have to pay. And in this case, no, on namni lane so, on namni lane so. Or bet you overtaking. Overtaking no, but Gina we need not or qua. As long as he's within the lane, he's right.
He's right.
And
as long as he's within the lane. He's right.
It's a wow overtake you, like he overtake you and you became at the back, you know. You have to be more careful, say one fan bono, because there are some bad Chinese guys that I know. Then when they overtake you, they intentionally press the brake and pause, and you realize that
story of my life.
My brother, experiencing everywhere.
A guy with a Jaguar. Is it Jaguar? G-Wagon.
Right.
Black G-Wagon. Early in the morning, I was just driving. I was exiting the highway. Man, I didn't know where this guy came from. He just overtook me in a minute. Then he stopped. He stopped in front of me. And all of a sudden, man, I was like, ooh. I felt panic. Instantly, I also pressed the brakes to stop. I was like, so what about if there was somebody speeding up and back? What would have happened to me?
It caused an accident.
So I don't know why the guy was trying to. I was like, later in the traffic, I just rolled my glass and I was like, yo man, thank you for putting the fear in me, taking the fear out of me. Next time try, I will face you.
you know, the same thing happens to me one time. I was just driving. I just don't like after work, so I just want to relax and drive. So I was on my truck. Then this guy was behind me, was giving me horn, and I was like, the road is not for you. It's for all of us. So
yes. If you are in a hurry,
my man, overtake and go. So this is what a guy did. He just give me on 1, 2, 3. I don't care. Then he overspeed and overtake me and just press the brake. Jesus. I was just relaxing. Had it been I was on the top speed, I would have hit the guy. So when I came back, I have some bosses, and I was like, yo, this is what some guy did. And they told me in China there is a kind of sickness. There's a kind of sickness with some people. When they get on the road, automatically they get pissed off.
Wow.
It's a kind of sickness. So the moment he gets into the car, he gets pissed off. He doesn't want anybody to overtake him. He doesn't want anybody to cross him. Yeah, it's a kind of sickness. Until we mistake or the bubble, because one, insurance is covered, and secondly, or when you lame, and so the boa police be German, and they will pay. The insurance will take over. So I think that has been one of the bad habits among the Chinese. Sometimes I even ask myself, how do they get the driving license? But the thing is not about they getting the driving license. The thing is about the attitude on the road. It's really bad. So if you don't take care with these things, no, you can't drive in China.
If you don't take care with these things, you can't drive in China.
Yeah, really.
All right. Thank you very much for watching Laced Up TV, and we'll be coming on your way with another set of video about life in China. This is what we go through. This is what we've seen. This is what we witnessed. We have been witnessing, and we have witnessed, and we're trying to paint the picture for you so that whenever you try to come to China, you will know that China is a beautiful country with a lot of things to go by. We didn't talk about looking for a job. Should we talk about that in the next video, or we should talk about it now?
I'm looking at you, man. But next time if you're coming,
should we talk about this work stuff in right now on the next video? Now I'm looking at you. Just let me. Are you tired, or we can roll?
Me.
I think we have talked for almost 1 hour.
What I have here. Let's put it in the next video.
Okay, thank you. I think we have talked for almost 1 hour, and I thank you all, especially you. We are in the new year, and this is a new video, and I wish you all the best. Happy New Year, and be good, and make sure that let someone speak good about you. Let someone say thank you to you. Whatever you go through today, tomorrow, remember, God is the cause of all causes. All right, be it good or bad, He's the one who causes. So calm down, everything will be okay. All right, your final word to the wonderful people watching, and about your channel, and what you got coming up.
Yo. Thanks once again for showing up in my studio. Today it was a wonderful visit though, but
That's
I think we've learned a lot on Laced Up platform, and I'm happy your viewers are watching, and thanks for watching Laced Up. Sometimes we need education, and education is the key to success, as they always say.